Welcome into 12 News at noon on this Monday. I'm Max Dutton. We have just learned the two men sentenced to death for a series of murders 24 years ago have been denied a resentencing. Jonathan Carr and his attorneys, along with his brother Reginald's attorneys, appeared in court today to request that the two be resentenced separately. The Carrs were put on trial and sentenced to death together for the murders of 5 people back in December of 2000. 12 News reporter Brandon Stitt was at the hearing and reports live now from the Sedgwick County Courthouse. Brandon, tell us what you know.
Yeah, Max, Jonathan and Reginald Carr appeared in court today. Jonathan was the only one that appeared in person. Reginald waived his right to an appearance, and it was only with his attorneys here. The motion heard today was brought by the brothers requesting a resentencing after several appeals. Kansas's top court overturned the brothers' death sentences in 2014, but 2 years later that decision was reversed by the United States Supreme Court, sending the case back to Kansas. The Kansas Supreme Court has upheld the brothers' 2002 convictions and death sentences. And the court today, Judge Gearing, said in a ruling that Kansas's top court gave it no instructions for resentencing, therefore that they had no jurisdiction, and denied the motion. The brothers are planning to appeal that decision.
This is the conclusion, essentially, of the first stage. There's this last appeal, and which will determine whether or not Judge Gearing was correct in his determination today that he does not or did not have jurisdiction to resentence or reopen the sentencing and reconsider the sentencing. But once that's resolved, then we move on to the second stage of appeals, the 1507 ineffective assistance of counsel claim, and that begins next.
And the likelihood that the Carr brothers will see an execution will be long after Mark Bennett says that he is the district attorney. It's something that we will continue to follow, Max.